Welcome to Kodennected Voices, the podcast where lived experience meets trauma-informed truth. I'm Janine, founder of Kodennected, somatic trauma coach and specialist in narcissistic abuse recovery and neurodivergent well-being. Here we talk about things like workplace trauma, emotional manipulation, nervous system healing, and the power of reclaiming your voice. Whether you're navigating narcissistic abuse, parenting through neurodivergence, or rebuilding after burnout, this space is for you. Let's reconnect, let's embody, let's transform. You're listening to Kodennected Voices. Let's begin. When nothing was ever enough. My story of workplace narcissistic abuse and neurodivergence. Today, I want to share something I've never fully spoken about. This episode is personal. It's about a place I worked for 11 years, a place where I gave everything, and yet it was never enough. I was the reliable one, the one who got everything done on time, the one who didn't make a fuss. I worked hard because deep down I believed that if I just did everything right, maybe I'd be safe. But I never was. It started out okay. I always give people the benefit of the doubt. I'm really not someone who understands things like manipulation, deceitfulness, and cruelty. So when I wasn't invited to the spa day the first year, I put it down to being new. And then it happened the following year, and the year after that. And they would talk about it in front of me. It felt cruel. There were comments on my Facebook posts when I was off sick, as if I was faking it. I had asked for email-only communication with work requests instead of phone calls, but the phone still rang, and when I didn't answer, they came to my desk and stood behind me, inquiring why I hadn't replied. That's not management, that's control. And worst of all, it wasn't just one person, it was systemic, a culture of quiet cruelty masked as workplace banter. While I was working there, something life-changing happened. I discovered that my daughter is autistic, and that led me to realize, so am I. Suddenly everything made sense. My sensitivities, the way I process things, the overwhelm, the hyper-awareness. I wasn't broken, I was neurodivergent. I wanted to scream it, to make them see that I wasn't difficult, or strange, or too sensitive. I was someone who simply experienced the world differently. Perhaps now they would give me a break. And they knew. I told them. But the behaviour didn't change. Then the final straw came. After a Christmas lunch do, I was reprimanded and humiliated for not being around to do the work. No one else in my team was chosen for this. I called my boss into a room to seek support. Nothing was done. I stayed as long as I could, 11 years, until my nervous system was burnt out and my self-worth was paper thin. When I finally said that I was leaving, they wanted me to give 9 weeks' notice due to my length of time at the company. I simply emailed that I would be leaving in 3 days, and they knew why. Because of the bullying. My boss said nothing. At my leaving cake gathering, people asked where I was going. I said I was going to work in a school as a teaching assistant. One of the people who had treated me the worst smiled and said, "You'll probably be much better at that." I left that day with tears in my eyes, Not because I was sad to go, but because I had stayed so long, hoping they'd see my worth. That wasn't professionalism, that was trauma. That was fawning, that was masking, that was autistic burnout. That was workplace narcissistic abuse. And I know now, if your body is shutting down in the workplace, listen to it. If your truth is being erased, you are not safe there. If you're constantly shrinking, you were never the problem. What I went through wasn't a series of bad days. It was a system that punished difference and rewarded manipulation. If any of this resonates, if you're waking up to the reality of what's been done to you in your workplace, I want you to know this. You are not alone. You are not too sensitive. You are not imagining it. And you are absolutely allowed to leave. Even after 11 years, even if they think you should have stayed, you owe them nothing. You owe everything to your healing. Thank you for joining me on Kodennected Voices. If something in today's episode spoke to you, trust that it mattered. Your story matters. If you'd like trauma-informed support as you heal, grow and reclaim your nervous system, you can connect with me via Instagram at Kodennected. And if you found this episode helpful, please share it, subscribe and leave a review. It helps this podcast reach those who are still learning how to feel safe again. Until next time, reconnect, embody, transform. This is Kodennected Voices.